Well, hello everyone. I am taking a few minutes here. I'm in my bedroom. I've got a kitty behind me. It's bright. RJ's talking in the background. And I'm going to switch to my desk in my office to go through the new MakseLife Flagship planners today. But before I did want to show you my face because I'm very excited about this launch. Towards the end of last year, I was approached by Sierra, who's the founder of MakseLife, to see if I was interested in doing a artist collaboration with her. Every year she collaborates for MakseLife to do a couple of their covers with artists who she both likes their style but also the way that they live their values out. And apparently she felt that way about me. And I was like, oh, well, thank you. And so she asked me to do a cover, specifically a floral cover. They offer a floral cover every single year, and because I love doing florals, that's what she asked me to do, and I was like, fuck yes. This is said planner. We'll take a closer look at it in a minute, but I did want to just pop on here to tell you how excited I am about this. This is what they're calling their Blackberry Fields cover. It is purple, and then their color Cloud, which is a kind of marshmallowy color, which is what the line work is. And I did a bunch of flower doodles and some berries, which is why it became Blackberry Fields. I actually offered her a couple of different choices of colorways and she picked the purple one. I am just so thrilled both to have my art on a planner cover, because that's cool, but also I've really enjoyed using the MakseLife this year, and so it feels almost coming full circle to have the New Year planner with my cover on it, and potentially I'll be using that next year. So it just felt really good. And I wanted to say thank you to everybody for supporting me in terms of my art and in terms of these videos. It's been a really hard year for me physically, going into kidney failure and everything else. Like, it has been a really, really rough year for me. And this has been a joy of it. And I couldn't have done it without the support of all of you out in my community, because that's how I got my name out there. One other thing before we go look at these flagship planners, I just want to let you know that A, the launch is coming up this Thursday the 20th at 1 p.m. Eastern time, and B, I will be doing a second video on Thursday before the launch to talk about the notebooks and things that are not the flagship planners that I got in my affiliate package. It was just going to be too long. I would rather have two slightly less long videos than one hella long video. So that's coming up soon. Also, I should mention up front that it should be obvious to everybody that yes, I have an affiliation with MakseLife. I am an affiliate for them. I did this cover for them, which, you know, means I have a working relationship with them, and they actually sent me my affiliate package for free because I was one of the artists this year. So I received all of these products for free. But this will still be my honest, uncensored opinion, because no matter how much I love anything, I can't blow smoke up your ass, because I want you to be able to spend your money on products that work for you. So let's be done with this gushy part. Let's say goodbye to Mr. O-Man and go take a look at the planners. All right, so I've got both versions of the planner here. I have the vertical in my cover, and then I have the horizontal in what they call the storm cover. And so we'll take a look at both of these and see the differences and everything in the changes from last year and so on and so forth. First and foremost, every flagship planner this year comes in a different keepsake box based on which cover you get, because the pattern on the box is the same as the pattern on the inside of the planner. We'll look at that in a minute. So I have two here. This one with the gold imprint on it is the one with my cover, which is the Blackberry Fields cover. And this one with like more of a silver situation is the Storm cover. These are two of the four cover designs. There are two other ones, a chevron and a watercolor quote. 4 different covers, 2 different layouts, both layouts available in all 4 covers. The flagship are $76, which is pricey, I'm not gonna lie. However, the quality is really great, and you get both the planner and the goal setting planner in one. You could potentially spend more money if you were buying a separate goal setting system and a planner. So there is that, but it is not inexpensive. Let's get into the actual flip throughs. Pretty sure all of the, I could be wrong about this. I am pretty sure that all of the coils on the covers are this gold color, which is like it's meant to be sort of like a muted gold as opposed to a bright gold. as for the wire O binding, except for this leatherette storm cover, which has the silver wire O binding. They are both about the same thickness. I would say that they both have the same color, the like gray band. The leatherette cover is slightly thicker, and I think it's because of the coating that's on it to create like the leatherette feel, that like faux leather situation. But it's not a very big difference. It's just very slight. Like, I'm looking for it. And then the back has the MakseLife imprint. The imprint on the Storm is the silver foil print, and then this one is the gold with the cloud color, which is the same color as the flowers in the background. The inside paper is the same as the keepsake box that goes with it. This one is kind of sort of like a, I don't want to say a leopard print, but it's got that kind of vibe. And then the Storm one is a kind of zigzag pattern. So I'm just going to flip through this one because aside from the weekly layout, the insides of these are the same. And so we'll go through one and then we'll look at the two different layouts when we get there. Now, I didn't use a flagship planner this year. I don't remember if the tabs had multiple colors or not. I don't think they did, but I know that one of the things they did this year was neutralize a lot of the weekly stuff, because before the weekly stuff in the flagship reflected the colors for each of the months. I didn't like that. I prefer a neutral week. And I know that Sierra, the founder of MakseLife, she said to me that she took some of my feedback into account. So I always appreciate that. Makes me feel fancy. Anyway, so here's the cover page, 2023. The power in these pages belongs to name, phone, and email. Here is all of the MakseLife information. Here is the letter from the founder. And then we have the dividers. Now the pages, there is no specific divider page. It's the same pages. They just have the tab with the lamination on them, which makes total sense to me with the amount of pages that are in this. Like, to be able to have it not be completely, like a Stephen King book or a Robert Jordan book makes sense. They updated the instructions pages across all of their planners this year. Like I said, I'm going off of some of this based on the information that they gave us, but I'm going to go into my current planner, which is not a flagship, and I don't know how much. Actually, I don't think I have any of the pages in here because I tore most of them out to utilize. Here is everything, like the features of what's in the planner, and then this is like the steps that you follow to actually set your goals at the beginning of the year. Then we get to the compass assessment. I feel like the compass assessment is a little bit smaller, but it's the same situation, the same categories: personal, fun and recreation, work and learning, family and relationships, health and wellness, spiritual and personal growth, financial and physical environment. So it's the same assessment, like the same categories. And then you go into your assessment scoring, and everything looks like it's about the same. Also, the area of life colors have been updated according to my list of changes. And so I think it'll be easier to see on the weekly actions page because they're a little bit more obvious. So we'll get to that. And then we get into the intentions and word of the year page, the setting goals area. Again, these look like they've gotten a little bit of an update in terms of the phrasing, but quite a bit of an update in terms of the formatting. It still talks about setting stretch goals, progress goals, and maintenance goals with a whole bunch of tips on how to do it. Like, there's a lot of guidance here on how to actually set your goals. And then there is some instructions on setting your annual, monthly, and weekly, your annual goals, monthly goals, and weekly actions. And then here are your weekly reflections questions. I know that in the original version of the planner, the weekly reflections had the questions on it. Some people don't want to do that. Some people use that page for something. So I actually get stickers from Monarch plans and use those to set up. Although since I've started this new planner, I haven't really been doing the weekly reflections as much. I just haven't had the time or the energy. It's something I would like to get back to, but they have the info here. And if I'm considering doing that or using that, what I may wind up doing is sticking like a little tab, like a top tab on this page so that I can utilize not only what I get in my Monarch Plans stickers, which just say like wins, worked, what didn't work. Like it has just the basics, but this actually gives you like some more meat to each of those questions. And that might be something that will help me manage it. I also want to kind of look at this weekly action task list and kind of go back to that as well. Here are some prompt words for what you're considering when you're writing your goals. And then this is like a blank dot grid page to give you some space to start thinking about all of your goals. Now we get into your annual goals, and here is one of the small changes that they made. Instead of the lines that they put on the original planner, see, here's the life compass, bigger in this version. They had lines in the annual goals before. Now it's a dot grid. And I know what they said. One of the things they said was that the reason they wanted to go for a dot grid is because some people don't want to just write things. They want to like mind map them or draw them out or whatever. Dot grid's a little more flexible than lines. And the dot grid looks like it's 6 by 6 millimeters. But as before, it gives you a spot for the category, the focus, a bunch of dot grid space, and then how will my life improve by reaching these X goals. And so you have that for all 8 of your categories. Then we have a space for your vision board, which I will likely utilize to do something like stick the school calendar in like I did in this planner, just because I prefer to do my vision board digitally. And then some more quick goal setting tips. It looks like we're into the months, and there is like a quote here, but with like a big blank space that you could use with like, this might be a good spot to put like pictures from the month or something like that, but it is not cardstock. It feels the same as the rest of the paper. And again, it makes sense to me because there's so many pages in this planner. This is one of Sierra, the founder of MakseLife's quotes, which I find, you know what? I love Sierra. I think she's fantastic. I love these products. I do find it a little amusing when people who create products like this quote themselves in their products. I want to be consistent with pointing that out because I've pointed that out in other things. But I also know she took the Tony Robbins quote out again because I was snarking on it. And so, hell yeah. I'd much rather have a quote from Sierra who is not problematic the way Tony Robbins is. So then here's your month. And unlike the month I currently have, the month is dated. It has the holidays already printed in it, which will be something I miss for not being in an undated planner because I'm not a big fan of the holidays being put in already. We'll see how the holidays go as we flip through the pages. And then this is the January color, which is like the dark kind of blue. But then every month for the days and the dates, there is the monthly color. And one of the things they did was update the monthly colors to fit a little bit more with the month or the season. So there is that. Now here's what the monthly spread looks like. You have the month, you have a quote, you have a Sunday start in your planner. Sunday, which I will probably be, if I keep using the Chrissy Ann Designs monthly, I will likely be changing to a Monday start because that's what I prefer. But it's a Sunday start with the holidays in the bottom. And then you have your months that have the days here, and then the dates have the same color for the month. Goes through the whole month. It has a very light version of the dates coming up in the following month. So they're there even if they're not obvious. And then a notes column. And then down here is a monthly calendar that shows the next month. And then here is your goals page for the month. This has remained lined, and there's still the goal and then the focus for each of the 8 areas of life with a quote at the top. And then we go into your weekly actions. And this is, like I said, the blank dot grid page that you can use for your weekly reflections or just use for whatever. It has a planning tip at the bottom that changes every week. And then here are the colors to see what is updated. So looking at these are the new ones. These are, let me zoom you in just a little bit. Although with the lighting, I don't know how well you're going to see this or not. These are the new ones. It looks like the colors have been changed, but it's not a massive change. It's like a slight change. So we have the yellow here is a little darker. The orange here is a little peachier. This is more of like a yellow orange. This is more of like a red orange. So it's leaning more towards like a peach or a coral rather than like a tangerine kind of color. The red here is a little more dull, a little less bright. The original red was brighter than this. For family and relationships, this one I think was probably out of all of them one of the ones that changed the most. This was a very warm purple, and this is very much a like cool toned purple. Like they have, you can even see, I hope you can see it on camera. Like it's a very different purple. These two have changed quite a bit as opposed to a little bit of a tweak. It also looks like the font that's being used is in bold instead of not in bold. Same font, just the bold version. The health and wellness looks almost exactly the same. The spiritual and personal growth, much like the red, is just a little bit more muted. The financial actually looks to be a little bit more saturated, a little bit more vibrant, a little bit darker. So like this is more of a paler green. This has more of like an oomph to it. And then the physical environment, like the purple, it feels like it changed its undertone. So this is like a cooler toned gray in the older planner. The newer planner seems to be a bit warmer toned. I like the change in part because it feels kind of like the colors here are a little more meshed together. Like here it feels like there is, at least with the yellow and the orange, they sort of are stepped back compared to the rest of them, whereas here they all feel kind of a little bit more in line with each other in terms of saturation. But it's not a huge difference. Like there really isn't. One of the things I'm looking forward to, side note, checking out, but they didn't have them available when they hadn't arrived yet when they sent the affiliate packages out, was the Moxie markers, which look like a version of mild liners, but they're matched to these colors. And since I definitely had trouble last year matching a couple of these, specifically the orange, the purple didn't match very well. Oh, there was another one too. I don't remember. But definitely the orange and the purple were ones. So I'm curious to see how well those match before I make any decisions for next year. And then the only difference between this and the undated is that there is a weekly, like the days of the week coming up here at the top. Now we're into the weekly layout, and this is where we will look at both planners. So this is the vertical layout. Immediately, the first change that happened this year is that the dates up here, this area up here, and the habits are now a like kind of bluish gray. It's a gray, but it leans blue rather than leaning like to a different color. But it is gray. The font is nice. They have like the day, and then the date is in a bolder font, so it's easy to read. The lines, the main lines of like the actual layout are nice and dark, with the other lines like going within each of the vertical days are paler. So you can see what's going on, but there is enough like stepped backness where you can use stickers and use markers and things like that, and the lines are not going to be bright and in your face. They give you the holidays up here at the top. The only color besides the grays is the little heart here at the bottom. And then for the habits, you still have room for 7 habits. You have a notes column on the side. And then you have your 4 days on this side, 3 days on this side, Monday start. The columns are 1.5 inches wide. And then if you take the whole column is, it looks like just over 7 3/4 tall. But if you minus out each of the sections, you have one line is 1/4 inch wide. This whole big box is about 6 1/4, a little bit less than that. And then this bottom box is just under 1.5 inches. So the width of the stickers should work just fine with like any of the quote standard 7x9 planner stickers, which I didn't even mention. This is a 7x9 planner. And so then you have each week and you go through till you get to the end of the month. And it looks like, for an example here, January actually ends on like a Tuesday. And so the end of January in terms of the planner comes on the 29th. So again, it just sort of depends on how you lay it out. But then you have your monthly reflections, which has all your questions here. And then you have your rating for the month. Then you have your next divider for February. You go into the next month. So February's got the pink and red things, and then you continue to move on. So before we go into the rest of the planner, let's take a look at the horizontal layout. Everything is the same, weekly or monthly stuff, weekly reflections, monthly goals, all of these are the same, but then you go into your horizontal planner, and again, it's a Monday start. Again, you have the thinner font for the day, and then the bolded font for the date. And you still get the holidays. They're put in here at the end. You still have the little red heart. It's down here in the corner. You have your boxes, which are the width of the page, basically. You're a little under 6 1/4 for the whole width of each day. And then the height of each day is a little under 2 1/4 inches. And then this like lined box here is 4 1/2 inches, whereas this unlined box here on the end is a little under 1 3/4. So you have plenty of room for each day. This again mirrors other sizes of horizontal planners that I've seen. Then at the bottom, it's divided in half, with 1/2 for a lined notes section and 1/2 for your 7 habits. I think my only real, besides, I used to love a horizontal layout. It's not how I'm feeling right now, but I used to love it. But I think the one thing that really is not my favorite about the horizontal versus the vertical is that I don't like that you don't have as much room to write your habit down. Now, I've found sometimes that the habit trackers in the vertical, I don't always have enough room for something like blood pressure, but you do get quite a bit more space to write down your habit than you do here. But this does mirror, they have a little sticky pad for habit trackers that looks like this that you can use in other kinds of planners as well. It looks here like there's some Mexican holidays in here as well as like US holidays. And then we go to March. March is green. I see Jewish holidays. I see Islamic holidays, and I see Hindu holidays in here. So that's awesome. There's also the first day of spring. So if you are celebrating like the equinoxes and the solstices as a pagan, then those days are also in here. And then at the end of March, because it's Q1, that's the end of it, we have your quarterly compass assessment to update it, which is the same information, but again, I don't remember what it looks like in the flagship because I don't have the flagship, but it is on a single page here. You have your compass assessment, your current, your previous scores, your same categories, and then your scores increase, decrease, stay the same. What personal actions contributed the most? The words you felt over the last night. It's the same questions, the same format. It's just on one page. And then there's a blank lined notes page behind it. We have an extras section. In the extras section, we've got the full year calendar for both 2023 and 2024, which means I can actually just use one of these for the school calendar for the year as opposed to taping one in. So that's nice. With the space in the bottom for important dates. The calendars are in the colors. Their Sunday start and they're in the colors of the months. And then we have a handful of notes pages. It looks like 5-ish, 5 double-sided notes pages. Then there is a reinforced pocket back here. It's got like a soft matte kind of cardstock feel to it. I said reinforced. I don't actually see any reinforcements, but it does have a nice sturdy feel to it. Then we have our stickers, which are updated in the colors of the new goals. It's a lot more obvious, I think, here with the stickers than it was with the monthly's goals pages. Let's take a look because I didn't really use the stickers. It's more obvious. Here are the stickers. Again, I don't know how well you can tell on camera, but yeah, you've got that kind of, you can see, especially with the orange, the yellow, and the purple, you can see the color changes here. The red too. The color changes are here, and I like the color changes, but again, they're not that different. And then you have a nice hardy pocket back here. And then you have the end of the planner on the Wire O binding, the binding of which I still fucking do not care for. However, I will say one thing I will add about this binding for this planner is that it feels like there's enough space on it to add some stickers to this without it getting overloaded. I have looked at some overloaded Wire O's lately, and this one does not feel like that. This one does feel like there is space on it. I also didn't mention, but there's a nice texture on this cover. So let's take a minute here and pen test this paper. I love the MakseLife paper. The paper is smooth with a slight bit of tooth to it. The paper is 120 GSM, so it's nice and thick. Let's do a pen test. For my pen test, I have a Pentel Energel RTX 07 gel pen, a Staedtler pigment liner 01, a Tombow dual brush marker, a Zig clean color dot marker, and a Zebra mild liner. Okay, a couple quick notes. First and foremost, I'm heavy-handed. Secondly, I pressed down lightly and then harder with the dot pen, and then I went with a single and then a double pass of the highlighter. And here is the other side. We have a very light amount of ridging from the gel pen, no ridging from the fine liner. There's no ghosting from either of them. There's also no ghosting from the Tombow. I can't even see it. or the first stroke of the highlighter. Very, very faint ghosting from the second press of the dot pen and the double over of the highlighter. I will mention that as I've been using this planner all year, with some of my Zig dot markers, some of the very dark ones, like the red, the ones that are really inky, if I press down really hard, I get a little bit more ghosting. I haven't really had any trouble with bleed through. The ghosting has been the most of it, and even then it hasn't been that bad. So it's great paper. It's something I've always loved about these planners is how nice the paper is. So that is the flagship planner. I'm so excited to get to talk to you about my cover, about everything else. Like I said earlier, I will be doing a second video later this week before the launch to talk about the other items that I have, but I really wanted to just spend my time focusing in on this situation because I love it so much. I really do. I'm going to pick out what planner I'm going to use next year. So I'm assuming I'm going to use one of these flagships, probably this very one, the vertical with my cover. I do actually have this horizontal storm, as well as 2 more in my cover, a vertical and a horizontal, which I will be giving away during Vlogmas this year. Any of the things I'm not using, I'll be giving away during Vlogmas, along with a whole other pile of planners. But if you are interested specifically in any of these, that will be happening, and I will be making sure to do the MakseLife giveaways at the beginning of December rather than the end, so that if you do win one of those, you'll be able to get your hands on it in time to get your goal setting done before the start of the new year. Anyway, I would love to hear what your thoughts are on this. Be honest. Do you think my cover sucks ass or do you like it? You can tell me. I won't get hurt. I promise. But anyway, I'm very excited about this. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below, as well as any other planners you'd like me to take a look at in the upcoming weeks. I do plan to try and review as many as possible before the end of the year. So helping you make decisions with your money that you are happy with. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. And until next time, friends, peace.